I don't know that everyone remembers, but Matt Coon actually pointed out on Twitter, and that's the first person I saw, that Inside the Ropes ran a story. Dave Meltzer has revealed that Tony Khan is still furious at Jack Perry and holds him solely responsible for AEW losing CM Punk. And Brian Alvarez has a tweet from about a month ago. Jack Perry disputes apologizing for CM Punk fight, was denied AEW release request. I don't know what happened. I don't know what didn't happen, but that feels like a little co-opted media support there to me.
Are you kidding me? I mean, Tony Khan and Dave Meltzer are psychologically symbiotic. They're joined at the hip. They think the same. They like the same things. One of the reasons, if you've been following Meltzer at all on social media, this mucker father's cracking like an egg. I mean, every time he posts, it's him responding to somebody who's actually listened to something he said or read something he said, points out the flaws in it, and then Dave proceeds to say, well, you obviously don't read, or you obviously didn't listen closely enough. You didn't get the context. No, motherfucker, you don't know how to write. You have the communication skills of a fucking 14-year-old. And it's impossible to understand what you write because you fucking write like a 14-year-old that's never been to an English class. It's horrible. It's vertigo-inducing bullshit. But they like the same. It's chat room wrestling. I imagine Dave Meltzer is a god in a chat room. And it's co-opted. Sure, Dave is doing everything he can to spin in hype for AEW, and I don't believe he's being paid. Haters, did you hear that? I don't believe he's being paid.
He's not.
One more time. You say he might?
He's not. I know for sure.
Oh, I thought you said he might. I was going to say, ooh, do tell, Conrad. No, I don't believe he's being paid. I do believe, however, that Dave Meltzer is so emotionally connected to what's going on in AEW because it was the only opportunity Dave Meltzer has ever had to be really close, legitimately close to the epicenter of a national wrestling promotion and have them affect his view of what wrestling should be. Because both Tony and Dave come from that same wrestling ideology. Japan. Let's talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling. You know what the average attendance is for New Japan Pro Wrestling right now?
I don't.
Last year?
I don't.
I do. It's about 1,700 people.
Sounds right.
This is not the New Japan Pro Wrestling of the Antonio Inoki era. This is not 80,000 people in the fucking Egg Dome on a regular basis. This is, yes, they're a national promotion in Japan. I guess however you want to define that. There are others. But, being a huge star in New Japan is not what it used to be. But in Dave's mind, it's everything. Tony's as well. And they're trying to force feed that style of wrestling. I don't want to say force feed. That's not fair. They're trying to use that style of wrestling and depend. That's a better way to say it. They're trying to depend on that Japanese wrestling ideology and style and presentation here in the United States. And it's never going to work. It's just not. It's a great thing to have. It's great garnish on the plate. So if you think about your weekly television show as a plate of food at a really high-end restaurant, you want 6 or 7 different courses because you want your customer to walk away being completely satisfied and having the best of the best in each one of the food categories that they ordered. And if you look at your show as a plate in a high-end restaurant, yeah, you'd want that Japanese style in there. You would want the Will Ospreay style of wrestling in there because it is phenomenal. It's exciting to watch. It's very dynamic, but you can't depend on it to carry a national television audience because they're not going to bite. You'll get a certain segment of the overall audience. So let's just say for round numbers, let's say there's 3 million active wrestling fans that watch wrestling every week on television. That's assuming the Raw audience, the SmackDown audience, and the AEW audience is all essentially one big wrestling audience, because I do believe that's true with maybe some very small exceptions. That's the overall, that's the market. That's your market. AEW gets what, 30% of that market? Maybe on a good day in terms of television viewing audience. They get maybe 30% of that. They need to grow that percentage of market share, and you're not going to do it by totally concentrating on the chat room wrestling style that Tony Khan and Dave Meltzer believe in so much. And that's why Dave bends over backwards to spin for him, because this is his last shot. If this thing tanks, you know, if you go back and you read some of the stuff, if you could tolerate reading it without falling off your fucking chair from vertigo. But if you go back and you look at his stuff, Dave tries so hard to, well, first of all, he thinks he's really good at weaving in his surrogate support into what he thinks people will believe is a fair and balanced presentation. It's not. Dave is spinning his ass off. And I don't know how he spins this. I don't. It'll be fun to watch. And the people like Dave and all the chat rooms, it'll be fun to watch them try to spin this. But wow, what a fucking, I haven't seen anything this bad since the AWA Team Challenge series. And that was like right before Vernon went bankrupt. No, I'm not saying this. I mean it. It's one of the first things I thought of was this was so fucking bad. I can't remember anything this bad. And I go back to the AWA Team Challenge series. I was there. It was right before Vern closed the doors. He literally had no money left, but he still wanted to produce a show. So we did the best we could with what we had, which wasn't very fucking much. That show may not have been as bad as what I watched last night. Nah, it was. Who am I kidding? It was as bad. But I don't think it was worse.
Did you like anything on the show at all?
No. It was fucking horrible. It was horrible. It made me embarrassed and I want to say embarrassed. Yes, it made me embarrassed because when I talk about being in the professional wrestling industry and I look at what WWE has accomplished, what I accomplished for a period of time, what I accomplished with WWE as a talent, I look at the business. I love the wrestling. I love the industry, and I want the industry to grow and succeed, which is why it's easy for me to get excited about WWE because of their growth and the things that they're doing, and why it's so hard for me not to call out the silliness that I see in AEW, all of which could be avoided, by the way, because we've neglected to talk about this. But Tony Khan and his roster continue to take shots at WWE while bemoaning like little bitches the tribalism that exists. They're fucking creating it. If Tony wanted to go off and do this wacky shit and say he's the alternative, I would probably support that because it is an alternative. It's completely different than what works in mainstream. I get it. But to as recently as Sunday, you've got the roster in their scrum taking shots at WWE and Cody Rhodes. All Cody Rhodes has ever done is put the people in AEW over. He's never taken any shots at anybody. But now you've got talent coming out and taking shots at WWE and Cody Rhodes. Fucking why, when you go out and shit the bed the way you shit the bed last night on national television, changed the wrestling world. Jungle Jack Perry comes out and looks into the microphone with a straight face, says, AEW changed the wrestling world. Are you fucking kidding me? Who believes that?
Wait a minute. Are you acting like it had no impact on anything at all in wrestling?
It gave people jobs. It gave people like me something to talk about. That's it.
Yeah,
I would agree that it's had a major impact on social media and in the world of podcasts. But beyond that, the rest
so
of
WWE would look the same, whether AEW existed or
not.
not.
I do believe that because I do believe the things that happened to Vince McMahon would have happened whether AEW was around or not. And eventually Paul Levesque getting control and people like Bruce and Ed Koskey finally being able
where would Cody Rhodes
do what they're able to do. Yes, I think that would have happened anyway, with or without AEW.
Cool. It's one of the dumber things you've ever said here on the program, but Cool.
In what way is it dumb? Please do tell.
Oh, please explain who the top guy is in WWE. Who is that again? Who's the champ? Who just main evented 4 WrestleManias in a row?
Cody Rhodes.
Okay. Is he going to do that?
If it wouldn't have been Cody Rhodes, it would have been somebody else because it was the storytelling that got Cody Rhodes where he is. Yes, Cody Rhodes brought a backstory with him, and I will readily admit the fact that he left WWE because he was there first and went to AEW and got an opportunity to do something that he dreamt of, realized it wasn't going to work, and went back. Yes, that added to his story, and it added to the intrigue. It certainly added to him. When he returned first to WWE, that was a big news story. That definitely made it possible. But if it wasn't Cody Rhodes, it would have been somebody else.
But to say that it didn't have an impact on wrestling is just disingenuous.
The wrestling business, no, it did not have an impact on it. Because if it wouldn't have been Cody Rhodes, it would have been somebody else.
Oh my God.
Cody Rhodes' title run did not save the wrestling business.
I didn't say it did.
I know you didn't say it did. My point is that it would have been somebody else because I do believe that the creative team as a whole, not just any 1 or 2 people, as a whole, with the ability they have now to actually do their job without some of the obstacles that were in their way up until recently, yeah, they would have gotten there with somebody else.
Cool.
That's no disrespect to Cody. You know that. It just is what it is. That's a real 33,000 foot perspective, not a ground level perspective. Sorry, I'm fired up, Conrad. Can you tell?
Yeah, it's all nonsense. You're just way wrong. But listen, you're allowed to be wrong. It's your show. Hey,
it's our show. And if I want to embarrass myself on our show, you should fucking be willing to welcome that with open arms.
I do, which is why I'm just laying out and let you show your whole ass here today.